Hi, everybody. My name's David Coghlan. Welcome to the first of the Inspired Marketing Group podcasts. I'm joined by my business partner, Richard.
Hello.
He's gone to sleep. And we thought it might be a bit weird if we were going to interview ourselves for our first podcast. So what we've done is we've enlisted the help of a tame former journalist who switched over to the dark side of PR, Greg Simpson from Fresh Attention. Thank you, Greg, and welcome.
Morning.
So Greg's going to do the sort of the dirty work of asking the questions and trying to make us sound interesting. So I'll hand over to you.
Thanks for that. No pressure. So I'll be in the Paxman role today, guys, if you're okay with that. Before I get started on some of the questions, I had a look through the website, obviously, in a fair bit of detail, Richard. I've got a very pressing question to ask you, which you don't talk about a lot. Scoring at Wembley. Tell me more.
I don't talk about that at all. That was 2010 when I was working for Eon. We'd sponsored the FA Cup for a set period of time, and we got this opportunity every year to play at Wembley. And basically, I said to the corporate director at that time, I don't mind organising this, but there's one condition. And asked what the condition meant. I said, I'm playing. Pretty much, that was it. And boyhood dream came true. And I don't mention it whatsoever, but I will send you the videos of me scoring. And I think that's my Facebook profile of me actually scoring at Wembley. So don't talk about it at all.
Dave, is there anything you want to disclose? 400 metre badge.
I think I did do my 400 metre. Definitely did my 200 metre. I was my towel was adorned with swimming badges. I've also got my cycling proficiency as well. So, I can do a triathlon almost, although I'm shockingly bad at running.
And a bit of a DJ.
Yes. My study is actually, it's more spacious now because I've moved my records into another part of the house. But used to do that. That was good fun in bars and clubs and stuff. Did a bit of radio DJing as well. That was my dream from university. But obviously, everybody wants to be a DJ, and then after a few years of not becoming a superstar, I figured I should probably go and get a job, and that's where I kind of fell sideways into marketing.
But not that it's a competition, but you had a dream and didn't achieve it. There we go.
There's still time, Richard. There's still time.
I can exclusively reveal I actually turned down the chance to appear for Manchester United at Old Trafford.
Wow. There you go.
Technically, it was a supporters group asked me to play, and it was live on Sky, and I didn't fancy it.
No way.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, chickened out. So from cycling proficiency to marketing proficiency, how did your careers evolve? Where did you start? How did you get to your most recent roles in-house and where you are today?
I'll go first because mine's probably more meandering than Richard's. So like I said, wanted to be a radio DJ or a superstar DJ. That didn't work out. I've played squash all my life as well. So I used to play squash when I was a little kid. And when I first moved to Nottingham, I went and joined Nottingham Squash Club, and I was lying on the floor actually of the club, completely done in. And there was a notice on the wall saying the assistant manager wanted. And I thought, I could do that. I need a job, and I play squash, business and pleasure. So I did that. And that was pretty cool. Not for profit, SME business, obviously business and pleasure. So, do some work and then go play squash, which was great. But as a small business, like most small businesses, no people, no money. However, my remit was responsible for getting new members through the door, making some money. So without any people and without any money, how was I going to do that? So that's when I sort of started to learn marketing at a very basic level out of necessity. Got all right at that, and then thought I would quite enjoy it. Went and did a CIM course in the evenings, and then I started, presenting to the board each month about how the sales were going and the activity I was doing. And the FD of the squash club took me to one side and said, "Doing a pretty good job here, Dave. I'm setting up a consultancy. I wondered if you fancy coming and leading on the marketing side." Yes, brilliant. So jumped ship, became self-employed. All the terror that involves, the roller coaster of, am I going to make enough money to pay the mortgage each month, which was, hairy, but, invaluable sort of lesson. Did that for a couple of years, and then managed to get a job in corporate land at Experian, which was, again, totally different, but something I really wanted to do because I'd done the SME stuff most of my life, and I wanted to sort of see how marketing was done at a corporate environment. So joined Experian, spent 3 years there, and that's actually where I met Richard. So that was my first introduction to Richard. Richard was my boss at the time. We did some good stuff, and I was eventually awarded the B2B Marketer of the Year for Experian UK, which was pretty cool. It's on my CV, and the award is on my shelf just up there still. So then I left there. I was headhunted for a fintech, a VC-backed fintech based in Nottingham called Openworks, where I was brought in to head up marketing and acquisitions for them. Really early stage business. I think I was employee 11. Again, like I say, equity backed. So we had some money to go and try some stuff. And in the 4 years I spent there, we pivoted that business model sort of 5 times. So test, learn, validate. Really, again, unbelievable learning curve. Really sort of, and that's become sort of foundational in how I approach stuff in terms of, learning quickly, failing fast, and then moving on and iterating. And then it was while I was working there that I bumped into Richard, I think in Tesco's in Nottingham. What are you doing here? So, I'm working next door at Robin Hood Energy. It's like, we should have a chat. So then Richard, as he himself said, started courting me to come and join him at Robin Hood. And obviously, having worked with Richard before and, really enjoyed it. We did some really brilliant stuff. It was a great opportunity to step sort of sideways into a different industry, into the energy sector. So went to join Richard at Robin Hood. And, Robin Hood is a great business, great sort of concept. I think it didn't quite fulfill its ambitions. And I think the sort of the complexity of the challenging nature of the energy industry eventually sort of paid for that business. But obviously, again, Rich and I did some amazing work, and the team there, we really, really performed well. I think we did as well as we possibly could have in quite difficult circumstances. But so that got Richard and I talking about, what do we do next? And we really enjoyed working together. We've done some great stuff. So we both, I think Richard texted me, but I was almost sort of writing out the same text at the same time saying, hey, why don't we start a business together doing marketing? So that's where we are today. So that's my journey. Which is a bit more formal. Yeah, mine's all over the shop.
Energy is the key theme, Richard, and that seems to be the case with you as well.
Yes, and I think that's the thing. I kind of carved out a career in marketing, but based on strategic moves, really. So I did going back to university, I did a business degree which covered everything from law, economics, finance, HR, and marketing was obviously some of those modules. And it was really enjoyed the marketing side of it, and I'm a sucker for marketing. I get sucked into all of like the latest tech and all of that stuff, and I really see the power of it. So really enjoyed those modules, graduated from university, but as many people have that issue, just couldn't actually get a role in marketing. So I joined a finance company in Nottingham, but then again was quite strategic in what I was doing, where I tried to align myself to the sales and marketing team, did a bit of a secondment over there to work out how they were selling into all of their retail stores. But again, it was quite a small company, so it didn't at that time, so it didn't go anywhere in terms of me getting into marketing. And at that point, I moved to what was PowerGen, which is obviously now E.ON. And the reason I moved was it was a project management role, which is a core discipline of marketing, but it was implementing projects which the marketing team would deliver. So I would implement a price change, which the marketing team led on, but I would do it for the customer service element and make sure that the customer service teams were all up to speed and engaged. So I was kind of working for, but not working as part of the marketing department. And my big break came probably 37,000 feet above, I'm guessing, Leeds at that point, maybe. I was flying from Nottingham to Glasgow with a head of marketing at E.ON to implement a price change at that point. We had an outsourced team in Glasgow. And what I didn't realise at that point was I was actually being interviewed for a role, but I didn't actually know it. And I actually still talk to her now. And actually, I was being pummeled for want of a better word, on the plane in terms of, you know, trying to tease out my marketing experience. And by the end of the week up in Tannockside, she was like, I've got a role if you want to apply for it. And so I got that was my first sort of big break. I actually achieved my first ever title as campaign manager for Eon. And for that, I I've said it on the profile online, forever grateful. Eon opened me up to a world of opportunities, from acquisitions to mergers. So I led the purchase of Economy Power and migrating that back into the Eon base. We won't talk about Wembley, but again, worked on the FA league sponsorships and did a stint at Eon, which was circa 10 years, to the point where I was, senior campaign manager, pretty much doing, everything for the business, and I had a great team there as well. At that point, I moved to British Gas. I think British Gas were they were seeing Eon taking a lot of market share from their business division, and they went for a bit of a crusade where they took a lot of the experienced people from Eon to British Gas to replicate what we did there. But again, that was going from small budgets to multi-million-pound budgets. It was a bit more of a digital element there. It was working for a big brand. It was working for sort of commercial boiler installs as well as energy. So quite a diverse role. And I was at British Gas for short of 2 years in reality. And I left as head of base marketing for the business division. And I think at that time I took the decision that I'd worked in energy for near on probably 13 out of my 15, 16 years working experience. And I didn't want to be institutionalized. I didn't want to be just that energy marketeer. I needed to get something else on my CV to be able to sort of advance further in life. And I really hate that when people ask that question of, oh, you work in energy, are there any transferable skills you can put into this industry? And it's like, marketing is marketing. It's the same principles. It's just a different audience. And actually, Dave talked about it. I took Dave into the energy business. He had no energy experience, but actually that's what I really love about, bringing people in, because they look at it from an SMG point of view, or they look at it from a different point of view and go, what about this? And it just opens your eyes more. So bugbear of mine, but yeah, that's, left to join Experian. Dave touched about, first sort of met Dave there. Worked for Experian for 3 years, and then was headhunted to join Ariva. And this was this was a massive step up for me in 2015, where I became a registered director of 4 of Ariva's PLC companies, responsible for 3,000 employees across 20 different locations, looking after the marketing element of that as the marketing director, but also having that responsibility of running a business and actually caring about engineering and MOTs and everything which goes in terms of, drug testing for HR and all of that. You had to care about that, and you really wanted to care about that as a director, because you were liable for it. But it really opened my eyes into, I love marketing, I love running a business, and it helped get to where we are today. And I guess after 3 years, I was traveling a lot. I had a young family. I was traveling up to Sunderland, spending days, weeks in Sunderland at a time, and not really seeing my family. And Ariva was a bit more of a B2C environment, and my background prior to that was all B2B. An opportunity came at Robin Hood, where it was primarily B2C with a bit of B2B in there, but actually owning sales channels as well. So I was looking after acquisition and marketing. So took that opportunity it was probably the ethos and the opportunity to work in sales and marketing was the only reason I'd ever go back into the energy industry, and I was honest about that. But yeah, so I worked at Robin Hood for 2 years prior to their sort of purchase from British Gas, which is deeply ironic when I was working with my old team at British Gas to actually migrate the customers over and ultimately make myself redundant. It was a bit of a weird situation, but everyone was very grown up, professional about it, and it was great to sort of talk to them all again and see how they'd progressed. And as Dave said, won't touch it too much, but we were chatting. I realised that I love the variety. I love helping businesses, and And I'm honest in my profile as well. I get a bit bored when things are working really well. I love to go into a business, got a problem, get it working, turn it around, and have that buzz, and then move on and move on and move on. And I think that, coupled with working with Dave, this is the third time now, and without a doubt the best person I ever worked with, it all just felt right in the middle of a pandemic to
yeah,
that's where we are.
The whole country's on its knees. Let's start a new business.
Exactly.
I started in 2008.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
On April Fool's Day, I might add, which gives me opportunities and headlines. You're talking, I can feel it, and we talk about energy and your energy and your love of marketing. Rich, I was looking on your profile again outside of Wembley, and you use a phrase that you get twiddly thumbs when marketing is sort of seen as a top table discussion. Yeah. And it's been at a senior level. Do you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's interesting actually. So a lot of businesses which I've actually joined, marketing, they've had a function, but they've not really. So take Ariba for argument's sake. Marketing was never a director level position, and I joined it as a director level position, but it was the first time it had been a director level position. So you've obviously got to fight for your voice, and you've got to really prove your worth. And I guess what I've always done, probably way back. Experian was very good at drilling that into me, to be fair, in terms of metrics and real, return on investment. That's all we used to talk about, and that's not a negative statement at all. And I think, when I joined Robinhood, there was no metrics in reality in terms of sales or website hits or right. We were doing activity, but where was what I would call measurable analytics? Where was I've spent this and I've delivered that, or this is actually done, has driven that, and the levers and leading indicators of what you're doing. And I love that feeling in reality of dropping into a business and going, oh my God, like I can't even justify my role here because there's nothing I can do to go, right, actually, we've done this and delivered that. And it's real hard work. But I kind of, love to build a team up which can deliver that, have metrics which really drive your sort of experience and impact on the business. But if I'm honest, the twiddly thumb bits comes into that is once you've got there, it's almost like, this is all working really well now. But I get the twiddly thumbs on the fact that it's just working. And I'm a bit like that. My wife, paranoid about it at home with DIY. It's just like, are you doing another plug? And I'm like, yeah. What else to do? And I hope that's what it works like in my marketing career is if I'm just reporting, this is going up, that's going up, great, sales going up, maybe it becomes a bit boring to me. And I love that. Do you know what? We are nowhere. How do I get us to the top? And once we're there, I think it is an opportunity to go, right, hand it over to somebody to run the day-to-day business and go on and try and do it for another business. And I guess that's where the Inspired Marketing Group comes in, that we can do that, how we work in terms of, done for you or done with you really fits in the fact that we can get it there and then we can just hand it off to the in-house teams or wherever to deliver. And twiddly thumbs, definitely.
So twiddly thumbs to the colouring in department, Dave. That's the phrase you've used. You are so much more than the colouring in department. 100%. Where did the idea come from to set up the new company? And where did it come from and why did you do it?
So I guess it's interesting because the concept of the Inspired Marketing Group is the fact that, everybody is, my view for a long time, so I'm going to go back, right? So my personal opinion is I hate the clock watching 9 to 5. You've got to be at your desk. That is not how, in my view, 90% of businesses in the UK today or for the last 5-10 years could operate. We live in the knowledge economy. We're not at machines making widgets anymore. So something that used to get right up my nose, throughout my career is kind of, when somebody gets told off walking in at 9:05, but no account for the fact that they're there until 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. It's the metric of time for me is wrong. So that's a fundamental thing. Then when I was at Openworks, because it was venture backed, they had a portfolio of companies, sort of 20, 30 in their group. And what they used to do each year was they create something called VC Build, and they get a cohort of sort of future leaders together from all around the portfolio, and then they'd take that cohort of 20 odd people through a process to come up with a business idea, pitch the concept to partners, and anything that had legs, they would back. There were businesses that have been backed by these guys for millions of pounds to develop it into a business. So my pitch as part of that was a distributed agency. So it was a marketing agency that with people all over the place, centralized around a platform where businesses could say, well, I need this, or I've got this requirement. And then from the pool of experts, which could be anywhere in the UK or globally, the team would assemble around the client. Everybody gets paid for their time and for doing the job. The client pays, just to have that thing done. And then the team sort of dissolves after the project's complete. So that was sort of 3 or 4 years ago. And at the time, the guys that sort of assessed it, so one being Dan Coghlan, who's a former MD of Google, he kind of gave me some good feedback in terms of, it's a good concept. And I think, there's probably something there, but actually, it's not very defensible. It's going to be, anybody can do it, and people are going to want in-house teams and blah, 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 blah. So so I kind of parked it, but it was still nagging away in my head that actually, there's no reason why that business model shouldn't work. So what happened obviously this or last year now in 2020 was obviously almost attitude caught up with technology. So when the pandemic hit in March, and basically the whole of the country was locked down and everybody was sent to work from home, Robinhood Energy is a prime example, right? A utilities business, a 150 person call center, and a mindset amongst management that actually those people can't work from home. Richard and I, we had laptops, and we can work from home. We're in marketing. You can go and you maybe do that once a week. But if you're working a call center, you've got to be at your desk, you've got to be with your team, you've got to be, So when COVID hit, in the space of 3 weeks, 300 people, including a 150 person call center, went from being 100% desk-based in an office to 100% remote working from home. And, inevitably they were teething trouble. But after that, for all intents and purposes, the business functioned exactly as it had from home. And everybody loved it. People didn't want to go back to the office because, they could take the kids to school. I can take my kids to school now. I go for a run. I can stupid stuff like I can load up the washing machine. I can do those jobs. I can take an Amazon delivery in. It's from a lifestyle perspective, it's amazing. And obviously, I'm not commuting. I'm not commuting to work. I'm not commuting back. I'm saving on petrol. I'm saving on, I'm a sucker for a Pret lunch. I'm saving a flipping fortune on Pret. So all of these things combining, and Richard, we bumped into the CFO of Robinhood in a coffee shop, and Richard said to him, he said, "Look, if I'd said to you, I can save the business £500,000. Oh yeah, brilliant. What do we do? Well, make everyone work from home and close the offices. You'd have been told to leave. Get out, you idiot. But now that's a very viable option. And so I think the reason that launching a new business in a pandemic, or the economic environment, all of this sort of horribleness that has gone around it's perfect for our business model, because everybody, both businesses, employees, have all now realized that actually they can work from home. People are productive. They're still delivering value. They can get more time with their family. They can enjoy their lives a bit more, and they can still do a great job. And businesses are saving money on overheads, on business costs, on energy costs, on all of the associated costs. And it's not perfect for everybody. And I'm not saying that everybody should work from home. And I'm desperate to go and have a coffee or catch up. I haven't seen Richard for 6 months. So it's definitely a mix. But I think where our model comes into its own is that you can go and handpick experts. You can pick the best person to do a very specific job for you, and you're not limited to Nottingham or the East Midlands or the UK, right? If you want somebody that does something very specific and they're based in San Diego, we've got one of our partners is moving to Tokyo. You can go and get that person and they can deliver that value for you regardless of where they are. So it's actually really going to unlock the economy to make it global. We're really excited, and I think it's that sort of coming together of attitude, technology, and societal change, which is we hope really positive for our business model, but actually really positive for a lot of businesses.
And I think sorry, Greg. I think that's the thing, is that the barriers have been forcibly removed. So you talked earlier about, I've got to see my team. You've not seen your team for a year, but they've been productive. You've delivered work. You've probably delivered some of the best results you've delivered. So that barrier has been forcibly removed. Oh, my team, if they work from home, I can't see them. So therefore, what gets measured gets done. They'll do no work. Well, they've done work for the past year. Everything has been forcibly removed to make this model work. And actually, we're never going to claim this, but it's actually more environmentally friendly as well. I'm not commuting 500-600 miles a week to go to an office. I'm commuting 200 yards across 200 yards sounds like
200 yards to the west wing.
This has taken off in 3 months, guys.
Yeah, there we go.
I think it was an interesting anecdote as well. We spoke to a potential client the other day who her business had acquired a UK-based business. They'd acquired another business based in New Zealand, and they said, obviously the team are all in New Zealand, and you said in any normal circumstance, onboarding a team or trying to manage a team from New Zealand would have blown your mind. But that makes no difference. They're on Zoom exactly the same as my team. So all I've done is I've gone, right, well, I've got another 20 people and they happen to be on a different time zone, but I'll have a call with them in the evenings, or I'll have a call with them in the morning, and just carry on as normal.
Yeah. And we were saying before, you talk about presenteeism and, railing against that. This is about outcomes, really, and what gets measured. To me, it's actually far easier to get outcomes when you are doing work like this, because you're not messing around doing the usual stuff you would be doing in the traditional office.
Yeah.
Being seen to be doing things. You are just getting on with tasks that are part of the wider project.
Yeah.
Marketing is just creativity plus maths, right? So it does seem to lend itself very well to both your clients and also the experts that you're referring to. Do you see yourselves as kind of where is the quality check? Because there's experts everywhere, right? You were saying Tokyo, Nottingham, Sheffield, Richard's up in Sheffield. Where does that come in? Where do you come in terms of the client and the expert and making sure that people are who they say they are as good as they say they are, and they are what your clients need?
Sure. So the people that we work with, so we've already got 20 people in our team. Again, they're not employed, they're freelancers, they run their own businesses. They're marketing experts in their own right. They've already got clients, they've already delivering value, they're already credible people. Some of those people we already know, we've worked with in previous lives, either where we've hired those people to work with us, or we've worked with them as colleagues. So that's the first tier. But what we also do is we'll almost provide sort of an entry interview, if you like. So Richard and I, somebody can apply to join the Inspired Marketing Group, and then Rich and I will interview them, and we'll say, hey, tell us about you. What have you done? Give us some examples of how you've succeeded, what industries you worked in, what sectors, what's your specialisms. So we can quickly sort of, and Rich and I we've interviewed enough people in our time that we can kind of hopefully sort out some of the chances. But for most people that approach us, like I say, they're credible people, and they are already doing good jobs. The other sort of is more of a binary control, is all of our people have to have professional indemnity insurance, which is, it's something which if you're doing something off the side of your desk, or you've got a side hustle, you're trying to do some marketing in your bedroom, or you're not really going to have that. So it's quite a binary filter. But the sorts of clients that we work with, corporate scale up, larger businesses, that's the sort of professionalism that they want. So you need to have invested at least that into your business as well. And the other thing is we're going to charge our freelancers to join us. So if you want to be a part of our group, you need to pay a subscription. Now it's a nominal fee, it's sort of £10 a month. But again, what that does is you have to be committed, right? You have to say, I'm going to invest in business development, of which your subscription to the Inspired Marketing Group is one of your costs. But again, if you're not dedicated to your craft, in that you're willing to pay for a subscription and for your indemnity insurance, again, that does help us qualify out. But then once people are in the group, so if we accept you, everybody starts at what we're calling our sort of entry level, which is influencer. But then as you do great work, and this is based on client feedback, so when our clients tell us that this person's amazing, they've done an amazing job, you move up our levels, and as you move up the level, you earn more money. So you'll make more money the better the work you do. And similarly, if we get feedback from a client which says that wasn't very good, that wasn't, we can demote people back down those levels, or we can ask them, it's not really working out for either of us. So sorry, we're going to let you go.
There's an incentive there as well, isn't there? Because obviously, as you move up the level, when you get to the top level, which is a IMG Genius level, we've already built the foundations for almost like vertical sector leading, actually almost like profit share on the business. So the more you invest into it, the more you're going to get out of it. And I think that drives a certain behavior that actually we want to deliver quality work, and obviously all of those at an influence level, Dave and I will oversee that work as well. So there's always internal quality gates there, because it's our brand, it's our reputation which is at stake. And yeah, but I think just to summarize quickly what Dave said, the key point to me is that we can vouch for every person who is currently on our books at the moment, because we have either employed them, directly worked with them, or for them. And that, there's a real community kind of sort of feel to it now. So yeah, we're not putting someone we've never met into a business. I've worked with them for 2 years, and they are quality at that.
What is it you're trying to achieve? What's the big picture here? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10?
I think
personal,
and so there's a business objective, there's a personal objective into that, and obviously jump in, Dave, if I say something which is not sort of aligned to yourself. But we want to help sort of marketeers do the work they want to do and love, and I think that we've both been in in-house roles where things get loaded onto you, which is not what you really want to do. So you might, for argument's sake, you might be the marketing manager, and then they need a bit of PR, so PR becomes part of your remit. But actually, I don't really like PR. I prefer digital marketing, or whatever that looks like. So, and again, it goes back to the community. A lot of the people we're working with have actually probably taken the side step out to create their own business in their niche they want to do. And the Inspired Marketing Group acts as a lead gen to their business, for want of a better word. So we're trying to help marketers do more of what they want to do. We are trying to get them sort of the wages which they deserve. So again, we don't really negotiate on day rates. We sort of say to them, what do we charge? What do you charge? And then we align projects to day rates. So as an example, we've got designers which are heavyweight, medium weight, lightweight designers, for argument's sake. And actually, depending on the client's budget, we may place different sort of experience there, but ultimately offer that choice to the end client as well, to say, we can get you someone at this price, but actually for more experience and for that, you might want to be looking at paying this price. So again, it kind of, and that helps businesses sort of grow. I desperately love making businesses thrive and grow in the world. So we're trying to help that out. And I know from personal experience that recruitment is an absolute, it takes so long. And you're sometimes sort of driven by, it's hassle. You're driven by, I've got a budget, but I can't get the right person with that budget. So do I settle and get someone in my budget, or do I not and do it myself, or do I go back and ask for more budget and get the person I really want? This business is about getting our end clients the expertise, and they pay for it when they need it. So actually you get the right person. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you want the best person in your business at any given time? And then personally for me, I created it along with Dave to for it to be a lifestyle, for want of a better word, is the fact that, I've commuted 300 miles a day in some experiences. That's not what I want to do, and my time is much better spent. 8 o'clock this morning, I was sat doing work.
Mm-hmm.
I would be in a car. And actually, if I want to sort of pick the kids up at 3 o'clock today, I can do that, and I can come back and I can do a bit of work in the evening. To me, it's about lifestyle, but ultimately helping businesses get the right talent at the right price and driving the results. I don't know your views, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, we're really aligned. Whenever we talk about this sort of stuff, we always come out with the same sort of hyperbole. It's kind of helping people do more of the work they love. I want to do more of the work I love, right? I would much rather, if I can do work for clients, do the things that I really enjoy. But then I've got somebody sitting next to me, or virtually sitting next to me as a part of the team, to come in and do the stuff I don't enjoy. Happy days, right? And then they're getting paid, I'm getting paid. Everybody's happy. And the client, like Richard says, they're getting the best people to do every single part, whatever they need. And again, personally wise, I think I want to work with great people. So I only want to work with great people. I want to work with great clients. I want to work with ambitious clients that have got, ideas and sort of exciting objectives. And like Richard said, I've got a young family too. I want to be able to play with my kids. I want to pick them up from school. I want to drop them off in the mornings, and it's the mix of all of that which this business model allows us to deliver great work and enjoy our lives as well.
You're talking about the values of yourselves, and I can feel like the values of the team that is getting built up. And you spoke about business development and the small subscription, professional indemnity insurance, marketing. I would say this: marketing is an investment, not a cost. Do you see most people starting to get that, or is that mainly a client side point of view? Will the experts think that as well, or is there still education to do on the client side when you can prove the return on investment?
It's a really difficult one, isn't it? Because, and I suppose that's where our sort of our background really plays to our clients' strengths, is the fact that we've sat there, we've been them, we've had that situation where you've been offered targets and you've accepted them and you're not quite getting there, and it's you understand the reasons why, but you're trying to hit them. Dave and I at Robin Hood went through months and months and months and months of trying to convince people to invest in a new sales tool. We knew it would work, and actually, when it was finally signed off and delivered, it more than exceeded our expectations as well. But it probably goes back to our values as a business, is the fact that, and I guess that Dave touched on it, working with people. We want to work with people who get it, and when I say get it can be in a number of different guises. So one of our clients loves marketing, doesn't understand how it works, but understands the benefits of what it would like to deliver to our business. Come in, do it for us, and just show me the return on revenue. Brilliant. We want to work with businesses who are passionate about their businesses as well. If we're working with somebody who's like, yeah, I do this, but I'm not really interested, that we don't want to be with them, because we're fanatical about what we do as in marketing. So if you don't understand marketing, you don't understand how it can drive your business, but you've got the passion for your business, we can marry the two together and take you to where you want to get to. But yeah, it's a struggle. It's always a struggle, but I don't talk about cost. Every proposal we send out is, this investment is, and it will deliver Y. And if people get it, they get it. And if they see it as a cost, then I don't know, maybe we're not the right sort of business to work with, potentially.
Yeah, and you know what this gig is like. Greg, you send stuff out, and then that's it. You hear nothing more. But we've made the decision really early on that we're not going to chase, because we're going to follow up with things, but we're not going to get into the negotiating on price or just falling down a hole, because actually it means, if the client or a prospect doesn't see the value in what we can provide, then we're not the right people for them. And similarly, if we're trying to cut corners or cut cloth accordingly, that isn't going to give the client the results they achieve, they're going to be unhappy, and we're going to be unhappy because they're not going to get paid. So we're going to be honest. We've got sort of 4 core values, and one of our values is sort of honesty. but not just sort of honesty. We're radically honest, right? So if we have a call with somebody and they say, "Oh, I've got £5,000 and I want a complete rebrand, I want a business strategy, I want an acquisition person, or I want some paid," so sorry, it ain't happening. We can help you figure out what it needs to look like, but yeah, and we'll tell people straight, because if their ambition is out of kilter with their budget, or we can help them readjust it, but yeah, we're not going to waste clients' time just taking the money for the sake of it. We'd rather say no.
We've got examples of that already, haven't we, as well, in the fact that we pitched to one business, and then we kind of we gave it the cursory, have you got it, do you want to talk about it, kind of chase, and then through a mutual acquaintance, the conversation was, wow, you really need to keep hunting this down because they've got 1,000,001 things on their plate. And actually, when they had a conversation about it, stepped it back and said, if they've got 1,000,001 things on their plate, they're very busy people. If marketing and a proposal to hit a number of sales revenue isn't in the top 10 of those 1,000,001 things to do, marketing isn't important to that business. And actually, the foundations to going into that business are rocky from the start, because they don't get it. They're not invested into it. So you're on the back foot from the start. And that's where we make a conscious decision to go, actually, probably not the right fit for us. You don't have to understand it, but it's got to be in your top 10. Because if it's not in your top 10, why are you spending money on it? The likelihood is you won't spend money on it because you don't actually fundamentally get it. I've worked in other businesses as well where they're just like, I don't really want to spend this money, but I've been told I've got to, and all I care about is you getting me the results. That's fine. I'm quite happy with that approach, because, I'll go in and talk revenue and finance off the back of the marketing. They don't have to get it, like it, whatever, but they get excited by the end result. So yeah, it's an interesting sort of scenario to be in. But yeah, I think we want to work with businesses who get it, who get marketing, don't get it but want it in reality.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, isn't it? I was given a great piece of advice about 5 years ago, which is the most important job you've got as a business owner, bar none, is getting and keeping customers. Yeah. Dress it up however you want after that. That's the most important thing. Otherwise, nothing else happens. There are no other functions without the customers. And basically, that is marketing, right? So do you think, we're now into the, January 2021, I was going to ask you for a crystal ball moment, and things have changed obviously since last week, or have they? Is the opportunity even more present now because this wild west has opened up for freelancers and experts, or is that a threat in that there are so many people now who may be coming out of jobs, out of roles? Is there huge opportunity, or is there huge threat, or is there a bit of both for people?
I think so. So for me, there's both. I think the one undeniable truth about 2021 is change is coming. So we might not know how it's going to shake out, but the world is going to be very different this time next year than it is today and how it was last year. So, accept that fact that how you operate today isn't going to be how you operate next year. I think there is opportunity. There's also risk. I think there's risk for people, there's risk for businesses. There was a piece in the news that I heard today from the FSB about, small businesses at real risk. And us, we're recently self-employed. There's no support for people like us. We're covering this ourselves. So there's huge risk, and I think there's going to be huge risk amongst the smaller end of business community. Obviously, the impact of that is loss of income, potentially loss of homes, awful outcomes. So that's the challenge of businesses, and even for larger businesses, right? If people stop spending, they're not going to buy your stuff, whatever it might be. And then on the flip side, obviously, when businesses fold or they reduce or they just sort of hunker down, people start losing jobs. There's going to be redundancies, and it kind of it snowballs. So I think that's the risk, and it feels inevitable. I think the economic sort of chickens are going to come home to roost this year in one shape or another. But at the same time, we've had warning. This has been going on since March last year. It's inevitable that it's going to get worse. It's how do you prepare? So the opportunity is, okay, right, how do I structure my business? How do I set my stall out, or how do I cut my cloth so that I can adapt or be flexible enough? Again, going back to sort of my private equity days, it's kind of, you've got to have options. You've got to have optionality about, okay, right, I think this might happen, so I can do that. But if it doesn't, then I can quickly go this way. And then on the employer side, I think there's going to be, as the reduction in jobs, more people enter the job market through redundancy or whatever, there's going to be greater levels of sort of enforced self-employment. So people, in our position who are marketing, we've already seen, some of our former colleagues, excellent marketers, be made redundant. So the option, as there become less jobs, is self-employment. But again, we hope with the IMG, certainly for that group of people, that if you want, or if you're struggling to get a job, you've worked in good businesses, you know your stuff, but you're a bit nervous about setting up on your own, we can help, right? Yeah. We want to be the community. We want to put our arms around our peers, around people that are working in our industry, to help them succeed. Because no matter how awful the economic situation is in this coming year, businesses need to survive, and they need to do that by, like you say, getting new customers and keeping their old ones, and they're going to need to grow. So, and again, that's all going to be driven through marketing and through sales. So, I fundamentally believe, and Rich is exactly saying, that marketing is a function for growth. For it can help you defend your market share, and as the market shifts with people leaving or exiting or out of necessity or choice, that market actually for your business becomes bigger. So there's opportunity to grow. So it's going to be a very, very dynamic market over the next 12 months. And I think it's how you set your stall out today that will help you navigate it, the best way.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make a few notes while you were talking there, and everything is, like I say, completely spot on. And I think there are some undeniable truths. Dave touched on one about how you operate today is not going to be how you operate tomorrow. The undeniable truth is the furlough scheme has to end at some point. It's now at the end of April. Now it's being extended to. At that point, when it's end, the undeniable truth is there will be swathes of brilliant marketeers being made redundant, because the reality is it's still the same mentality of the first department to go is marketing. Yeah. So for no fault of their own, brilliant marketeers will be made redundant. So in a way, COVID means that our opportunity maybe has to be elongated, because businesses might sort of not spend initially, might monitor and see what happens. So it's about us holding our nerves. The opportunity, which Dave's touched on, is that there's going to be brilliant talent out there, and actually they might be forced into their own sort of employment. What they might not want to do is go out and lead gen. Actually, that's where we can help. And the thing from a business point of view is they're going to have to market. They're going to have to win customers, or they're going to have to defend their businesses. Go right back to the war. There's case studies where people who didn't advertise during the war didn't exit the war as affluent as those who reduced but carried on spending. These businesses who cut their marketing functions or get rid of them need to do something, but they're not necessarily wanting to put that back on the payroll. We had a conversation with a prospect last week. Their response was, actually, this model really works. I get the skill and the expertise, but I don't actually get them on my payroll. So I can get them for a short period of time to do the job they need to do. I only pay for what I get out of it in terms of 1 day, 2 days, 3 days a week, or whatever it is. But I get the right person. So I think that it's I think that there's opportunity, and there's cause for a bit of sort of cautiousness. But I think how we've set our business model up really works, in the fact that we've got no fixed assets in terms of office space. Actually, to run our business is quite a small cost. So because it's a virtual business, and I guess to touch on Dave's point, touch about the people, our brilliant marketeers we've worked with might find themselves having to do this themselves and set up their own businesses. I think Dave coined the phrase, we want this business to exist and nobody has to figure it out alone. Is actually, if I start my business today and I'm a PR expert or I'm a PPC specialist, how do I get leads? How do I get this? How do I do whatever? Just join the IMG and we will feed you.
Yeah. Which is taking away the risk on both sides as well, isn't it? There, because you were saying about we're talking about risk and reward and clients. The risk there is saddling themselves with resource they need to pay for. Yeah. You're helping them make sure they get what they need, rather than tie themselves into great big issues around employment law, everything else. You're just piloting people in and experts in as and when they need them. So that de-risks it nicely for them and keeps the flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just, you don't just join the community. So obviously to run this business, we've got technology, we've got, assets and support, we've got documents, we've got legal templates, and all of the stuff, all of the work that we've done in the last 3 or 4 months to get this thing off the ground. Once you sign up, not only do you get access to the community and to the group that we can sort of feed you with business, but you also get the tech stack. So, we've got CRM system, we've got accounting software, we've got all sorts of stuff, which you can, again, just parachute in and you're off and running.
And how's the first couple of months been? What's the feedback been like? How's it been being your own bosses, guys? How do you feel?
Okay, so on the bosses thing, I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't know about you, Rich, but it's just. So I think it's really great. It's really good. I've done this before, and it was terrifying. But I think, if I was doing it again on my own, I would be equally terrified. But doing it with Richard it feels, because I think, particularly early on, when we've basically got no income, you always get a bit like, especially with Christmas has come in. And I think I had a call with Richard a few weeks after we'd started going, are we doing the right thing? Is this going to be all right? But just having Richard there, for me, has just been so helpful, just to have that other person to sort of bounce it off, and we G each other up. So I am absolutely loving it.
There's a great song, and one of the lyrics in there is "Up on your down days," and actually that's what works. Is that basically Dave, and it works. Dave will ring and go, and I'm buzzing off the walls, and that brings Dave up, and it works vice versa. I ran Dave to the down. I'm like, God, I'm a bit worried about our run rate, and he's like, yeah, but what about? And I'm going, yeah, great, fine. and yeah, I same as you, is that this feels safer than going it alone. And I think what I like about the relationship that Dave and I have got, and I'll use a football metaphor, is that, and I've used it to people in the past, and I don't know if I've said this to you, Dave, or not in reality, but I've said it about you, is that we've both got sort of Nottingham kind of sort of backgrounds, and it's almost like Brian Clough. And actually, one was a manager, one worked for them, but actually, who was better than the other person? And actually, no one was actually better. They just brought different things to the party. And actually, there's stuff which Dave does for our business where I'm like, yeah, I don't know how you've just done that, but that's brilliant. And likewise, I'd like to think there's the same. And actually, the two of us together work amazingly well. But actually, when Clough and Taylor departed and one went to Brighton and the other one went to Leeds or whatever, they failed separately. And actually, then they came back at Forest and took on the world. So it's that to me is, it's really, really good. I think from a business point of view, we've been, I don't think it's an under exaggeration to say we've been absolutely blown away by the response, in the fact that we've not had one conversation where somebody's gone, this business model is pathetic and it doesn't work. Actually, the conversation we've had is around where everyone's just got it. And I guess some of the barriers are attitudinal, I think, in the fact that, and this is one of the things we need to kind of sort of break down, is that everyone's still in the same mantra, and it's inbuilt, it's innate. So actually, one of the dangers could be that we come out of COVID, let's call it April 1st, and everyone goes, right, everyone back to the offices. Mm-hmm. Actually, that's because it's inbuilt, it's built into people. The conversation we're having with people about our model is around recruitment, and actually, again, conversation last week was pretty much, I was going to go and recruit somebody for this role. But actually, you're just compounding the issue, because actually, you don't need that person full time. You need them 6 months. Nobody's going to leave a job for 6 months, a full-time job to join you for 6 months. If you recruit them full-time, then they do that bit you needed them for, and then you're going, do you want to just look at this? Because you're trying to fill their time up. And I think that's the thing we need to break down, is that the default answer is, when I need something, I go out and I recruit full-time. And I've touched on it before in this, is that you're then limited by your budget. You obviously compromise on skill to hit budget. Actually, this is about what you need, what can you afford, and our proposals are very much about, you need a PR expert 5 days a week. Right, it's going to cost you this. Can't afford that. In reality, do you need them 5 days a week? Because actually, I think you could get the same benefit for 3 days a week. And that PR expert's happy at 3 days a week because they've got all the clients to fill. The business is happy because they've got the person, they get the results they need. But it's breaking down that innate behaviour of, it's a cycle which businesses have been on since businesses were invented. You know, I've been guilty of it in the past. You judge your success by how many people
absolutely
work for you. I've got a team of 20, and it's like, and actually, me and Dave talked about it the other day, is I've run big teams in the past. You know, these freelancers don't work for us, but I've got a team now of 20, which I can call upon. This is the biggest team I've ever run within 6 weeks, 7 weeks of launching. And they may not all be available today, but I know that if I want a front-end developer, I can go and get one. I've got one. He's on our database. Go and speak to him. We know what he's going to charge. We know his availability. Job done. This is an amazing concept, and that's what we've got to get out to people is, don't go and recruit a full-time conversion rate specialist. Actually, what do you need them for? What's your budget? You can deliver that on this.
Spot on. In that case, guys, I'll leave you to get on with the rest of your Monday. Dave, you've probably got some washing to put on, I think you said. I've got to walk the dog.
Washing's actually already on. I need to hang it out now. But yeah, thank you for that, Greg. I really appreciate it. And good chat. I hope it was slightly interesting introduction to what we're trying to do here with the Inspired Marketing Group. And, we'd love to work with you. If you want to join the group, let us know. If you'd like to work with us, let us know. Go to the website, the imgroup.co.uk. There's a form there. You can get in contact. We'll say hello. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.